And we are live. So, welcome to episode 221 of An American Werewolf in New Jersey. I am the American Werewolf. In the house tonight, we've got Itty Bitty Billy Committee. Haven't heard that
Anyone
since
who's seen this
grade.
movie knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, that was not time wasted. We've got Eric from Hey Internet Eric here. Nice to see you, man.
Yep, happy to be here, dude.
Yeah. And we've got John K. Alvarez, a personal Amazon shopper. So, he's always out there doing what he can and, trying to turn over a buck here or there. Who can blame him in this economy? What the fuck? So, I wanted to talk about this movie. I think I actually covered this once. We don't get into a lot of Criterion Collection. But I saw this, and it took me a long time to come around to Kristen Stewart because of the whole Twilight thing. And I think once I said that I actually watched the first two movies, and I'm like, these are fucking atrocious. But everybody kept going on about how great she is and how great Pattinson is. They're like, it doesn't matter. This is like years later. They're like, it doesn't matter about those movies. You got to watch their other stuff. Like, that's really fucking good. And so I started to watch other Pattinson things like The Rover, and then I'd see him in Tenet. And a whole bunch of others. And then I started to get into, I started to take a chance with Kristen Stewart, and I saw that she was doing this paranormal movie, and it was on Hulu, Olivier Assayas, Personal Shopper. And so I watched it, and I was like, fuck, this is not what I thought it was going to be. If you guys are ready to go, shall we get it going?
Please.
Giddy up.
Boogie woogie. So God bless the French. You need them in your life if for no other reason than to get some naked Kristen Stewart going. Well, they don't want to fight anymore, and they're being fucking run over. But that's a whole other conversation. But what the hell was that?
I was playing my lines.
Oh, okay. But I mean, itty bitty Billy. Okay, I'm not going to say that like fast.
It's cold out.
Yeah. What did you think? All this
IBBC.
aside, what did you think of Olivier Assayas' Personal Shopper? And then I'll go around and we'll chat it up.
Overall, I was a little disappointed. It was a little bit slow for my taste for
you guys go ahead. I'll be right there.
Movie. I know it was very artful, but there were some good things throughout. It's really well shot. It was very effective in the way he created a lot of claustrophobic shots. Like everything seemed to be in a little box, and the opening sequence, the first night she spends in that house, was really well done. And I thought the sound design was amazing for that one piece. It started to lose me when it got into the texting stuff. I was just like, I'm not spending all day watching millennials text or consumers or whatever. It's just, it lost me. It didn't feel like the same movie. And then we had this long trudge through the life of a personal shopper in London and Paris that we really didn't need. And then, of course, as much as I appreciated it, some unnecessary titty shots and masturbation shots that just sort of ground it down, and I'm like waiting for them to get to the point, and then it speeds up at the end. So I enjoyed it. I watched it twice, not necessarily for the boobies, but because it was like Radiohead. Like I had to watch it a second time, thinking I missed something. Just like I went back and Radiohead, thinking I missed something, and I didn't miss anything. It's same conclusion. for the movie. There's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. It's very European. It's very slow paced. It didn't keep my attention, but it was interesting. I'll give it that.
All right, John, what do you got for us?
As opposed to Michael, I didn't get to see Twilight's movies.
Okay.
And so I kind of came in seeing Kristen Stewart in different films. And in some cases, she blew hot and cold with me, depending on what she was doing. I got to admit, I was actually impressed with this movie. Not greatly. Do I think it's perfect? No. I do think, but to give credit where credit's due, the focus of this movie was on Kristen Stewart's character.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter where the peaks and valleys were, she still did a good job in it. Yeah. She was, I think, the good actress to pick to play this role. I always try to get a lot of my students, or when I'm directing, to have people when they're acting on stage, not act on stage, but like be themselves and whatever. She was very much herself. And it was funny because when she was with other people who were trying to act, she outshined them. She did a good job. Was it perfect? No, but it was a hell of a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And I'll let it go to.
All right, Eric, what do you got?
I know Kristen Stewart. I had seen the first Twilight movie, and that one took me a couple days to get through, and it's not for me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to trash it because it's not for me. You know what I mean? It's for teenage girls. But I did enjoy, if I remember, it's been years, I remember enjoying Panic Room she did with Jodie Foster. Mm-hmm. And she did a movie called The Messengers, which was, it was okay. But then Mike told me about Underwater, and that is a fantastic movie. She is great in that. Yep. Such a good movie. Mm-hmm. So I went into this with 50-50 expectations. And I was real interested in it with like the whole medium. She's waiting for her dead brother type of thing. And the first maybe act, I guess you would say, like with the first ghost experience, that was really good. That hooked me. But kind of like what Bill said, once we get to just her buying dresses and texting, that's when I did lose interest because it went on too long for me.
Yeah.
I have no problem with, texting conversations in movies, but this was a long, drawn out texting conversation. And again, maybe some people might think it's a slow build or a slow burn. I thought it was just way too slow. However, once we got to that third act and we also got more possible ghostly interactions, then it brought me back in. So
Yep.
Good first act. Decent third. That middle is just kind of, I don't know why it's there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what I got. I understand. I didn't know what the movie was about. I just kept hearing about it. But what I understood was that, and I'm sort of glad, excuse me, I'm still battling through last week's cold. I think Julia would have hated this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Julia would have hated this. But I understood that it wasn't a horror movie. It was just a character. It's a character study. It's a character study of this very isolated and lonely young woman who just happens to be wrapped around a sort of paranormal ghost story. It's a ghost story without a jump scare in sight.
Right.
Pardon me. But the performance and her performance made up for so much. And unlike the two guys who didn't get much out of the texting, in terms of actual performing, I thought those were some of the strongest parts of the film because she was doing, like John said, doing nothing and making it look interesting, at least the first time that I saw it. Because she's got nobody to feed off. 1 second.
I am so sympathetic because I have that type of cough right now.
I had that for 3 months, man.
Yeah. She has nobody to feed off. And even small scenes where I saw where she's texting and her hands are trembling. It's real performance there. Is it your standard horror film? No. But is it a great performance? And I think maybe one of her best performances. As much as I love Underwater, I mean, I was the one. Sorry.
It's okay, dude.
Yeah, it is the hardest type of acting to do a silent performance. There's been some great ones, I think of Tim Roth in The Bellboy, or think of Julia Stiles in Hamlet. You can act without saying anything and pull it over. It's really good. And I agree with you about her performance in pulling that forward.
Yeah, it pulls it out. It's just, I think it's not what a lot of people expected, because it starts off with a very heavy paranormal vibe. And you've got this woman who has lost her twin brother very young. Sorry. I'm trying to power through this. And
you can do it, man.
Yeah, it's all good. And she's just waiting around for some sign from him to move forward. But what we find throughout the movie is that I think there's no sign that she's going to be willing to accept. I think she's just sort of bogged down in neuroticism. By the time we get to the end of the film, she gets a definitive sign, but it's not enough. It's not enough for her. And finally, when the final question asked, is it just me? The answer is yes. It's just you. It's not the rest of the world that's put you in this position. It's kind of just you, which is what I thought made the film a superior film. Isn't it Ghost Story in the sense of like The Others or Ghost Story or anything like that? No, it's not a horror movie. It's just it's a French character study. Wrapped around a horror film. But on the other hand, and I never appreciated it that much, she's so damn beautiful. I think she's just beautiful to look at. She's just fair and porcelain, and she's really good at playing the mouse. She did it in the Twilight movies, although those scripts were just so bad that, but I mean, she's just really good at doing that. And these understated performances.
She did the best thing at that last, in that last scene that I appreciated probably more than anything else she did in the whole movie. If you notice it, if you're watching it, when she gets that last answer, that last thumb, she looks directly into the camera and pulls you in. It's like you are now with her, and she looks directly at you, sort of like, did you hear that? And that was very, very effective as again a nonverbal performance part.
And go ahead, John.
No, I'll even go when she does that last point. I'm a bit of a disagreement with you, Michael. I think it's not so definitive. I think it's both. Is it you or is it me? And then you got the answer. It wasn't, is it you? And then, is it me? She said, is it either or? And when they said yes, that look on her face was just like, God damn it. It's, because you're not getting that clear answer. She also played grief very well.
Yeah.
And that's what got me, because that can come across so boring. Nothing understandable, loss of a person, everything else. But after a while, when you play it so long, it can become non-interesting. But I still kept watching her.
It's a very muted performance. And at the same time, it's saying a lot. Very understated. She's just waiting and waiting and waiting. One of the things that I also thought was a strength in the film was the cinematography. The shots are just gorgeous. Now, whether it's because it's just Paris, and Paris is, to me, the most beautiful city in the world, or it was, even the shots inside the houses, these old houses, that just look cold and kind of clammy, and the ceilings are real high, and she seems
very lifeless.
Or they could go to these warm shots where she's on her bike. And these sort of not overly brightly lit streets. And I was like, wow, this is just like a beautiful way to look at the city itself. Hold on a second. What else did we have? Yeah, I mean, because there are very few interactions of substance that occur in the film.
Mm-hmm.
There are almost none. It's almost exclusively her, because if it's like against the boy, the girlfriend, her, her sort of, brother's girlfriend, then they're just like, they're not telling you much, or that
she's also racked with grief, which was pretty two people racked with grief trying to interact with each other. And if you've ever been around that in real life, it's no fun. And that made the atmosphere of those interactions.
Hold on a second. We got Marty from the Trash Picture saying, "What's up? What's happening, man? If you want to jump in, let me know. I'll put the link in the chat."
Froze.
And he said Stewart was excellent and little appreciated sci-fi underwater. Yeah, underwater.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, fantastic because it's just a different type of film. I mean, it's just pure action from like the get-go. She really doesn't do that much acting. Per se. Anyone could have played that role. It just happened to be Kristen Stewart, which was a draw for me after I had seen Personal Shopper. I don't know that many people could have done as well of a job in this, though, as she did. For as, understated and sort of nuanced a performance as it was. She's suffering, but she's got this job that really doesn't seem all that awful. You're getting to go to London, you're getting to take a train to Paris, she's paying you in euros to pick up clothes.
But it can seem very monotonous too. That's the thing.
Yeah. You can see that she's joyless about it. Like the scene where she tries on the shoes, or all the scenes where she tries on the dresses, this forbidden thing she's not allowed to do. And when she does it, it brings no joy. She has no, and I get the feeling that she enjoyed it before. When the long-haired, fashion guy let her try on shoes before, but then blew her cover, and it just seemed like they're working overtime to say, she's got no joy in her life, everything is empty.
And that really goes with the character. I heard one review, which was funny because I didn't realize I agreed with it until I heard it. He just put it in better words. She had one world in the medium, and the other world, or the other foot in the materialistic.
Yes.
And she was and she was finding no satisfaction in either type deal. And she plays that very well.
You know what bothered me is that they didn't play up the Clint thing as much as they should have, that artist that they mentioned at the beginning of the show. Yeah. I was looking for that exhibition. I'd gone and seen an exhibition of hers at the Guggenheim back in 2018. Yeah. Okay. And it was that whole story. And when it came on, I was like very excited. Like, oh, I know that artist. I know this story. That's going to play into this movie. And then it goes away.
It's just enough. It's just enough to keep her. It's just enough cheese on the trail to keep her. It's just enough dangling the carrot to keep her moving. She can't, because the thing that's making her miserable is also the thing that she can't seem to break away from, which I thought was a kind of an interesting contrast with the boyfriend. She's got this boyfriend who's he's extremely concrete and pragmatic. He's like an engineer, so everything is very procedural, nuts and bolts, and, he's supportive of her. But you can tell he's not really. He's like, oh, you're waiting for your brother to contact you. Okay, fine, no problem. But I'm over here. Why don't you just come over here? And even eventually, when she gets there, you can see like the shots are completely different. It's the first time you're seeing like sunlight.
Right.
Like daylight, this sort of disinfectant, kind of thing that, she needs, because it's always dark in Paris, or it's always rainy, or it's always overcast,
gloomy.
which is not what Paris is. But for the setting, I mean, those were the shots that they're using, whereas they come into this sort of desert place in Oman in North Africa, where, it's very dry and it's very Spartan, and you don't need very much. He says that. He goes, it's Spartan, but this is what you said you wanted. So he offers, this contrast that she's sort of avoiding, because I think like there's an attraction sometimes to staying in what makes you miserable.
Right.
It's a little on the twisted side. You want to be there. You're sort of attracted to your pain, or
Right.
this, that, and it feels good in a
Right.
certain sort of way, in a weird sort of way.
Wallow in
And-
misery. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not about that.
Yeah.
Right.
But that. Go ahead.
No, I love the fact that when you were bringing it up, and it's going to sound weird because I'm assuming it's the judgment of the director. Up until that point that she went to visit her boyfriend, her hair looked kind of dirty. She looked very disheveled,
Mhm.
which I actually thought was great for going for the person who was buying the clothes, was wearing mismatched outfits and things like that. When she showed up for him, the hair was cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clothes were lighter. I mean,
Yeah.
it looked like less of the burden was on her,
Yeah, it's a whole new life.
or at least taking the first steps to go there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
You also saw
That's
a
the
little
thing.
bit of. Go
That's
ahead.
the thing I thought in the first scene. I was like, oh, her hair's messy. She must be really, really troubled.
Yeah.
Turned out to be true.
I deal with people now who are like losing people in their lives and everything else. And at one point in time, I walked up to a person who I worked with and I said, please don't take this offensively. Go in the bathroom and wash your face.
Mm.
No, I got makeup. And I said, I know. And it's makeup upon makeup upon makeup. Go in the bathroom, wash your face, start all over type deal. But that's how they were dealing with it. And it's that physical act that sometimes helps.
Yeah, and what I thought was kind of a punch in like this grounded sort of sense was what ends up happening with the girlfriend. Like 3 months later, she meets somebody else.
Right.
She's like, I can't stay here in this. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
like you don't know if it's like you understand it, but at the same time, it's kind of inappropriate. And then you feel, well, okay, it's clearly a rebound.
Yeah.
But it's like she's got to
Absolutely.
live. She's got to get back into living again. She's like, she's like, grief and pain are hard enough. I don't want to stay here in mourning.
But did that glass fall just because he hit it, or did it fall because of metaphysical reasons in the kitchen when he leaves?
That's what I think is a
when
question.
When boyfriend leaves, that's when the glass breaks.
Yeah.
Well, if you see
you see it come out.
No, you can see the brother in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he moves out of one frame, and then it goes from glass, and then it goes to a screen, and you don't see him. And then they go to the next piece of glass, and it's just the cup.
Correct.
Right. So the point is the brother actually keeping her mired in this depression and this grief?
It could be, or like I said, is it her? It's like I've heard people when they were talking about the texting, some of the messages they thought it was, this could be from the brother.
And the first time I saw it, I thought it was the brother. I thought it was the first time I saw it.
Yeah, too. And I'm going, no, it's a whole different bent.
Yeah, way too creepy and sexual for the brother, I thought.
Yeah, I could see how it would be the brother at the beginning, but when he started telling her to put on the dress and stuff like that, then I knew right away it wasn't.
And to me, it was it's something that added to this movie, and I also think it's where it gets convoluted because it was kind of like a spirit ghost story. Then became a mystery, then went back to the ghost story. And when it was the mystery, it was kind of like the pieces were there, but instead of the script putting it together, the director, whatever his name is, just basically turned around and went, here you go, put it together.
Yeah.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
I think what I got, go ahead, John, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, because I saw this years ago, and when I saw it again today, I'm sitting there going, all right, I remember that. Oh, I missed that. It made not so much that I had to come back to see it again, but I'm like, no, it was right in front of you. You weren't just paying attention. And I kind of like that in a movie.
She wasn't all that sorry to see her boss go, though.
No,
which is
I don't
weird.
think so either.
It wasn't enough to shock her out of her grief.
Yeah.
That
lady was a monster.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. The gorillas have to be there. You have to get the gorillas back. You're like, what the fuck?
She's doing some sort of yoga, bending like a pretzel, arguing about gorillas at some type of wildlife place or something like that. And what I did, you could tell because I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was either Mike or John who said like Kristen Stewart's kind of doing a lot with nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the look on her face of just a pure annoyance.
Yeah.
She's just trying to.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like, I just need to say one fucking thing. Can you just stop arguing for like 30 seconds? You know?
She was disgusted a lot in this. The character felt disgusted a lot with people.
Yes.
It's kind of thing like she was just kind of like, you people don't get it. I lost somebody here. You know?
Well, you know what the problem is? This is what I put in the notes the first time that I watched this. And I used like the old notes and I just watched it again. And then if there was something to add, I didn't. And there wasn't much. But I said she has no connection with anyone.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
She's just, and I think that's what draws her into the texts.
Yeah.
She's so desperate to connect to anyone. She's not connected to her brother's girlfriend. You know, she's not connected to her boss. You know, and basically she's not really connected to her boyfriend because he's Skyping, you know, and you know, he's like, I've been trying to reach you for a month. You know, so she's been off the radar for a month, not talking to her boyfriend.
I've been busy.
Yeah. So she's so like alone. She's so lonely that eventually it just, you know, somebody starts reaching out to her, and even though it's obviously dangerous,
Right.
I mean, it's obvious, you know, like she's looking around on the first time I saw it. I'm like, is he on the, you know, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
She doesn't care. She can't help it. She's so hard up for, you know, connecting.
Part of the reason I had such a problem with this movie is I couldn't connect with any of the characters, including Kristen Stewart. It might be just because they're in that world of materialism and modeling and celebrity that I just didn't give a shit what happened to any of them, and they never built it up to, you know, make me care about them. Not the family, not the boyfriend, none of them.
Actually, the one time, and it was weird for me, was when the guy who was dating the girlfriend of the brother.
Yeah.
That little scene where he actually apologized to her saying, we didn't do this before when he was alive.
Right.
Like, I genuinely thought that was a connection because I think he was worse than she was.
He was so guilty over what they were doing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because when he turned around and said about feeling guilty, or I think he's around, his presence is here, and she goes, I think that's your guilt.
Yeah.
And I was like, because you saw a complete change in her, though it wasn't physical, her tone and everything else. And it was funny because he was actually, I think they were both had that moment of connection. Nothing great, but I was like, wow, out of all the people to reach her, it's the one who's replacing her brother.
I didn't expect her to respond so maturely.
Yeah.
Because like what I first saw when I watched this, I was waiting for her to have some sort of meltdown. And she never really does.
No.
She never really does. She's so tightly, you know, wound up and contained that even in the face of the murder and, you know, that creepy guy, you know, kind of stalking her, she never really loses it. You know, she just kind of holds it together. And I thought the fact that she was willing to, you know, provide a little grace to this new man in, you know, this woman's life and say, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, was a sign of of decent character from her, which, you know, she didn't demonstrate anything to the opposite before that. But I mean, under that kind of pressure, she could have said, get the fuck out of here. You know, all of you go fuck yourselves. You know, you have no idea, you know, what you're doing. And she was just like, no, I'm surprised, but I get it.
I think it showed her who she really was before her brother died a little bit. Let that little insight come in that she would be understanding, as it were.
Well, she also said at one point in the script, you know, she had a tendency to follow.
Yeah.
She was a follower. She followed her brother. So, you know, she didn't have much initiative to, you know, start breaking out and blazing her own path. She's sort of stuck in this. Go ahead.
She also has that same congenital heart problem as her brother. And one of the things the doctor said is you got to stay away from intense emotions. So, you know, it's probably, you know, part of it is she just can't allow herself to have a meltdown because she'll die.
Actually, I would love if there was one more scene at the end of the movie after, like, when she said, is it you or is it me? The boyfriend walks in, and that's when she has the meltdown on him.
It's all your fault.
Yeah. You brought me here. That type deal. Send the hate mail.
Well, I mean, it's just I think that initially it wasn't what I thought it was, but when I saw it and completed it for the first time, I was like, that was a really good fucking movie.
It was.
Because it was
right.
just the performances and the cinematography and the setting, and it was a good story. And you don't get many good ghost stories.
Right.
If you get into Guillermo del Toro's The Devil's Backbone, that's kind of more of a story than it is just a horror movie.
Okay.
And so so sometimes the expectation can be the disappointment. But I didn't find that it was a bad movie in any way, shape, or form. I really like this movie. I actually wouldn't. I've got it on DVD. I found a used copy, but I mean, just for the cinematography alone, one day I'd like to buy it on Blu-ray. Just for how pretty it is. And yeah, I like this movie. I like it a lot.
Eric, what was that movie? What was the movie you said that she was in before? Passengers? Was that
The Messengers?
Messengers?
Yeah, it was. It's God, I haven't seen it in a long time. But she is, she's the daughter of this family that moves into a supposedly haunted like farmhouse or something like that. And my wife and I, we went to it. It was like the $3 theater on a late Saturday night. We were bored before we had the kid, and we were entertained by it. And that was bad. It was before Twilight, so we didn't know who the hell she was.
Right.
And Kristen Stewart,
I'll be right back.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart's kind of like Robert Pattinson. She's always going to be judged by those Twilight movies, and that's the stigma. Really? I think so. No matter what, I think they're always going to throw it at her. And I think the thing is that she's not given a fair shot when she's when people. It's like this. Oh, who's in this movie? This person, and Kristen Stewart. Oh, she's in this. That's what I mean.
I'll admit, I was one of those people in the beginning.
She could get past that. I mean, Robert Pattinson, ever since he did the Lighthouse, I had no problem with him at all.
But he even talks about how hard that was to get out of there. But the reason why I asked about that, because I saw a review about Personal Shopper, and they said, look, you want to go see a typical ghost story that stars Kristen Stewart, go see The Messengers. He goes, this one's different, and I went, okay. And that's when I went back to watch the movie again. I went, you're absolutely right. It's a different type of ghost story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I mean is I'm not saying I dislike the film. It's just I was expecting it to stay in that ghost story type of realm, and they, in my opinion, I liked the beginning of the text messaging because it was okay. Who the fuck's texting her? Is it someone on the train? But then when it got to more texting and then more texting, it got a little too drawn out. And then I know we have to know what's in her everyday life, but I don't need to see her buy this dress and then buy these shoes when it's spliced. She did it this day, and then she did it this, and then she went to go shopping again, and then she did this type of thing.
Okay, all right. True story.
You could have accomplished the same things without being quite so drawn out, but that's a European thing.
No. I saw her. I remember the first time I saw this. God's honest truth. I saw her buy that mirror spangly dress, and I'm like, that's the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And then she put it on. I was like, I don't know fucking anything, do I? I'm just going to shut the fuck up from now on and just sit back. And like when she puts that blue dress on, like she gets the harness, sample, and I'm like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, that thing is hideous. And then she puts it on, and I'm like, fuck. Okay, I don't know anything.
I was going to start calling her mistress after that.
But she's not Anna
titties.
Yeah,
she's not Anna Nicole Smith, man. God rest her soul. Or she's not Sydney Sweeney. But I was talking about that the other day. I was on Frank's The Harsh Truth talking about the DCEU, and I said I had just seen Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney, And I said, you're getting the nipple shot. They're bringing like sex. Sydney Sweeney is like single-handedly bringing sex back into like Hollywood horror.
Okay.
I said, but I don't know what to fucking do with it because she's like in a nun's outfit. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? No, I can't tell. Wait, I can't look
should
away.
I feel uncomfortable or should I, enjoy it?
It's called 8th grade at St. Catherine's of Siena.
It's called I'm going to confession this fucking Saturday over at St. Siana's, and I'm going to have to talk to Father Anthony. Yeah, Father, is this fucked up? What am I doing?
It's called being human.
But yeah. But what ended up happening was I like this so much. I saw that this director and her did another film, which I ended up purchasing called Clouds of Sils Maria, which is a drama with Juliette Binoche. And I'll see anything with Juliette Binoche in it. And it's the story of Kristen Stewart is the handler of Juliette Binoche, who is an actress who is starting to age out.
Okay.
And she's being brought back to be recast in a role that made her famous, but this time I think as the older actress in the production. And they've got a new it girl playing the young part.
Exactly.
And so it's like, give me a story. That's what I always say. Just give me a story. I don't need it to be gory. If it is, that's great if you're giving me a story. So, I do other things other than horror. We all do watch, drama and things like that.
As much as I appreciate the silent performance, I need better dialogue. I need interaction and dialogue to carry a story. That is the type of filmmaking that I love best. Is
We all have our
snappy dialogue.
Well, it also depends
on
on
bigger boobs, right?
No, boobs were all right.
Yeah,
unnecessary, but all right. I mean,
For me,
I said bigger boobs.
You could tell the director had a thing for her, and he had so many of those scenes in there. Like the way she lifted her T-shirt when she was trying on the high-heeled boots.
I may have to go back and rewatch that again to. Yeah, I might have to. I don't remember that. I'm going to have to go look at it again.
See, I don't mind.
I saw it twice.
I don't mind
I'll send you the saved clip.
Performance was like because when she had her phone turned off or whatever, and then she was getting those text messages. That was 10 minutes ago, 7 minutes.
Oh
ago,
yeah.
That was used properly. That was like okay, fucker's right outside the door. He did,
and she went and
that
looked.
That was used properly,
right?
So,
and the guy who played the fucking killer was a creepy looking guy anyway. But I mean, I think at its highest priority, even over the paranormal ghost story, it's a character study, and so I could see why that would throw some people off because basically it's a horror channel. But I mean,
it was a lost opportunity that all could have been played out in a confrontation between her and the detective, and it was a lost opportunity to put effective dialogue in the midst of this silence.
Well, we did show the ineffectiveness of French police who failed to cuff that guy. One guy ended up getting gatted. Put some fucking cuffs on that guy. Start clubbing him. Like old 80s.
I actually loved when
they all be the
Baltimore
police.
We're the guys from The Wire. Fuck you guys. You don't get to win. Fuck you. And start kicking everybody. Kick the shit. Get them.
We need Jenkins in there.
Yeah, when we had the head detective was talking with her in the interview. And she was saying what she did, that look he gave, like, what the fuck? I kind of laughed at that. I did. What do you do? I buy clothes. And what? That was so funny.
Which is weird. Why would a detective in Paris not understand fashion? I don't get that part.
Oh,
that's being discriminatory. Not all French people are into fashion. That's like saying why doesn't this American understand?
You got to know something about the fashion industry.
They're all into eclairs. That's about it.
Oh, it's weird. You're a personal shopper. Like that's new.
It is. It's an interesting concept. She's like, well, she can't go out anywhere. It never occurred to me. I guess you can't go shopping, but I guess you can. I hate shopping.
It's amazing. She's so famous she can't enjoy Paris.
Yes.
She'll be swamped.
Which explains why she's kind of a closed off asshole.
Yeah.
So. All right. Is there any aspect of this film? I hate to do it, but just I'm struggling with this cough. Is there any aspect aspect or a part of this film that we did not discuss that you'd like to get into?
I think something Bill touched on, and I think should be the use of sound a lot in this
Yeah.
movie.
The sound
Like,
design in this movie was absolutely fantastic, especially in the opening and in the last scene.
When
Very,
she walked
very
through
good.
that house and the echo of her boots set up the fact that this is cold, this is lonely, this is,
she's all alone.
No one's here, she's all alone. And that was well done. The little bits and pieces of just tidbits of sound coming in.
Yep, the wind.
I really like that. That was well done.
Very effective. Very effective.
All right. Anything else from anyone?
No, I'm good, sir.
All right. Let's get to the part in the stream where we rate the film. This channel has a rating system that goes from 0 to 5, up by halves. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. So 0, for example, would be I'd rather eat a block of blue cheese than watch this movie again. All the way to 5, which is this is cinema, this is the destination, this is why I watch and discuss movies in the first place. Itty Bitty Billy Committee, what did you give Olivier Assayas' personal shopper?
For all the good stuff that's in it, and there's a lot of good stuff, my opening remarks remain the same. It lost me in the middle. The second act is weak, and I got to give it a 3.5. It makes sense that it won a Palme d'Or or whatever it was at Cannes, because it's still the kind of movie that, smug assholes will challenge each other about.
I love it. I love it. The more smug assholes, the better. At least if you're making good movies with a good story. John K. Alvarez, a personal Amazon shopper. What would you give this film?
In the defense of the smug assholes voting for Palme d'Ors,
You never have too many.
you also got to admit that I heard this on a couple of places. As one critic put it, this movie got booed at Cannes.
Really?
Some of the people in the crowd booed it.
Okay.
And the guy said,
Not smug enough.
and
See,
he
Bill?
turned around and the guy put it, I actually love that. Because he goes, I like the film and I don't know why I like it. And I'll say that too. I like the film, but I don't know why I liked it. And I think the fact that it got booed boosted up a little bit for me.
They booed
Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. There is parts that I felt that lagged, but I'll give it a 4. I'll go a little higher than Bill now. And I'll give it a 4.
At least they didn't show it in Philadelphia. They booed Santa Claus. So,
And hit him with snowballs, baby.
And they're smug assholes too. So, Eric, what do you got for us? Olivier Assayas' 2016 personal shopper, 8 years now in the hole. What do you got for us?
I'm kind of going to side with Bill. I'm going to give it a 3.5. It's great to look at. It's such a beautiful film. It's great to listen to. So if you have a nice surround sound, you use that.
Yeah,
I think Kristen Stewart does really well, with what she's given. It's just, like what Bill says, like that second act kind of just, it drew me out, and it kind of drew me out too far to really get back in. Like I do really like the final act. I like, her accepting that it's her. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know if any of you three have seen The Babadook, which is another a woman dealing with the loss of a loved one through trauma, and it's a spectral or creature, whatever. This I liked a lot more. I did not like The Babadook, but
and I hated that kid.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for that second act of, like I said, the beginning of the text messages and then the intensity of the last set of text messages was great, but all that stuff in between, I just didn't really care. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. But again, just because it's Kristen Stewart, like I was telling Bill, like, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to see the fucking Twilight Girl movie type of thing. I think she's very underrated, and I'll still watch anything. Like, I really want to see that Runaways movie with her. You know what I mean? I really want to see her. I don't know if she's
a hard-boiled noir film. Yeah.
I think she plays Joan Jett. I'm not sure, but I really want to see her.
Yeah, she's Joan Jett.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah. So 3.5, I think, is pretty fair.
Wait, what's the new one that she's got out too? Where that's the noir movie with Ed Harris, where it's like a murder.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember what it is because I'm seeing.
And she's like a trailer trash lesbian.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like a really hard boiled movie. It's supposed to be really fucking good.
Love Lies Bleeding.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
actually, Mike, it's right now. I'll check for you tomorrow because we do the switch over. But that's in Cape May. That's in Rio Grande. That's in Cape Square.
I might take a drive then. Because
Let me find out if it's there tomorrow, and I'll send you a text if it's there.
Send me a report about the titties.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be like, what was that movie, Bound? What was the one with Gina Gershon and Jennifer? Yeah, Jennifer Tilly, man. That's tough to beat.
Yep. Ed Harris in that movie, Love Lies Bleeding, that long hair makes him just look creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Ed Harris as an actor, but he always has that trimmed hair and whatever.
He's always talking to the president.
I'm like, oh, Christ. Ugh.
Oh, History of Violence, though.
Yeah.
He's great in that.
Oh, yeah. He's great in that. Fucking Cronenberg. Yeah, that's a fantastic film.
Very underrated movie.
All right, later, man. For me personally, he said he had to go at 9, so he stuck it out a little bit. For me personally, I'm going to go with a 4. I want to go with a 4.5. I'm stuck somewhere between 4.5. Let me talk this out, and then we'll see where I land. Because my initial is say 4, but I thought it was really good performances. I think she outshined everybody. I thought it was a good story. And again, I think the highest priority was that it was a character study in this very sort of flawed and grief-stricken person. It did have some really good paranormal aspects to it, but that wasn't the core of the story.
Right.
It was just about her, battling this grief. Cinematography is gorgeous. All the shots are gorgeous. The sound is gorgeous. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going 4.5.
Yeah, go with the gut.
Go ahead. I'll give you that.
It moves out of simply being entertainment into something that just sort of skims the surface of cinema. It skims the surface of cinema on a lot of different levels. So, yeah, I'm going to go 4.5 for that.
I think it makes a very good attempt at trying to be.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't succeed as much, I believe, as you, but it was close enough that I'm going, damn, all right. I got you. I see where you're going.
Yeah, I could be okay with this. With this. All right, John, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, let me give you 2 real quick. First off, Michael, thank you very much for telling me to go see Late Night with the Devil.
Oh boy.
I've heard nothing but great things. I'll say this. My friend Al, I went to 2 guys my good friend, sorry, John, went and saw it. And they're very critical on their movies and they loved it. And Mike, you know who Alex is, my old co-host. He said when he went there, full house, standing ovation at the end of the film.
Nice.
I was so stunned. I actually talked to a person who I work with in Stone Harbor. She was in Rio Grande covering for somebody to get extra hours. I was talking, and all of a sudden I looked, and all the workers were like coming in to hear what I was saying because I was giving a quick review. And they were like, "That's where's that movie?" I said, "Right down the hall."
Oh, nice.
You're showing it, guys. You're not, you really should go and see some of this movie. Number 2, Timothy Chalamet is coming to Cape May County.
Really?
Yes, that's one of the things that he's doing a Bob Dylan biopic.
Oh, I heard about this. Okay.
Bob Dylan, and I think it's the Newport Folk Festival where he first played electric guitar in like 1965. They don't have that same stadium, but down in Cape May County by the Delaware Cape May Lewis Ferry, parking lot area, they built an amphitheater that was like that a couple of years ago. They're coming out at the end of May and shooting it there. They're shooting that scene.
Nice.
And there's a thing on it. If you go to, I believe it's, if not, Mike, I'll send it to you on the website if you want to put it on. It's like phillyvoice.com. they're taking people there if they're living in the area, send them a picture, given your age and everything else. It's maybe 10-hour days shooting. If you're in the union, you get $32 an hour. If you're not in the union, you're getting $16 an hour.
Okay.
You're getting about half of it, but you're getting fed.
Yeah.
And you get to sit and watch Timothy Chalamet do Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I think you put that in the group text.
Send the link, man. Yeah, put that in the group.
I'll send it to you because somebody sent it to me, and I swear to God, I thought it was an April Fool's Day joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then two guys I know in the theater down here turned around and went, "No, they're not joking. They're looking for extras, and they're looking for people in the area so you don't have to travel."
Right. Yeah. Very cool. All right, yes, set us up with that. That'd be cool.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
All right, Eric, what do you got for us?
Hey, Internet, Eric here is the YouTube channel. Life has been so busy, I haven't done jack shit on it really since the last episode here. But the theme for the year is still movies I have never seen. That's the plan. The whole year, I'm only going to discuss movies I've never seen from beginning to end. So, like I've said before, Blues Brothers or Godfather, seen bits and pieces. I'm going to sit down and watch it. But the next one, because I started the movie a few nights ago and then life went crazy. By this weekend, I hope to have a video up on Nefarious from last year with Sean Patrick Flannery. Again, another recommendation from Mike. Holy shit. What I've seen so far is really fucking good. And then I'm like franchise-wise, I keep saying I'm going to jump into the Wreck franchise and then whatever the fuck I feel like talking about. But I am going to wait a couple weeks, and then if it comes to Shudder, I'm going to find it. I'm going to go, Late Night with the Devil.
Okay. Very good.
Hey, can I ask a question, Eric?
Sure, sir.
Have you seen The Fisher King?
I have not.
No.
If you get a chance, put that on your list.
Yeah.
Done deal.
It's a Terry Gilliam movie.
Mm-hmm.
Stars Jeff Bridges, Robin Williams. And Mercedes Rule won an Academy Award for it, and she's funnier than hell.
I'm all for it. I've told Mike, I said, I'm taking requests, so I'll do The Fisher King, and Mike wants me to Lawrence of Arabia. So
there you go.
That'll be coming sometime soon, too.
All right. For me on this channel, I've put up some videos, a lot of movie reviews of late. I put up Sydney Sweeney's Immaculate, which I called Give Us Barabbas. Actually, that was the subtitle of the review because they just go in the other direction instead of good fighting evil. They just go completely feral in that movie. Got up a recent review of from last week of Roadhouse, the new.
Yes, I got to see your video. I got to see that.
It's a fun movie. It's a stupid movie like the first one was. So
that's what I keep telling people. Like they're shitting on this new one with Jake Gyllenhaal and who's the UFC fighter?
Conor McGregor.
Okay. Yeah. What the fuck do you expect? The first one, the original one, isn't a good movie. It's fun. No. But it's not a good movie. It's Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott being cool as hell. Kelly Lynch gets naked and they beat up a bunch of rednecks. That's the movie.
I think one of the funniest spoofs on that was from Family Guy. When Peter saw Roadhouse and all of a sudden he's walking around kicking people and going, Roadhouse. Yeah. And I'm like, and people are looking at me, why are you laughing? I said, because that's the movie. Yeah. It's really not much different than that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm noticing that a lot, though. Have you noticed that some people are just trashing films and then I go and see them and going, why were they trashing?
Well, I'm about to release a video now, and I've got it. It's in the queue, and then I'm gonna publish it as soon as the stream is over. About Julia Gardner being cast as the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four.
I heard that.
No.
And people are already losing. Don't see this movie. Like not one fucking frame has been filmed. It's not even being released until next year. But the usual suspects are out there. And all of their followers, because that's exactly what the fuck they are, a bunch of followers, being told what to say, how to repeat the same lines. And you're just like, I've got this great thumbnail, and it's Julia Gardner. And I put this fucking text box, a little voice, text box, and it says, Galactus says the fans are douchey. So I
funny.
just, I'm so fucking sick of these people.
That's funny.
Oh, me and Mike were talking about that this morning, and then I said, okay, so they're upset that the fucking Silver Surfer. Which no one, you gotta get a deep cut with fans to find someone who actually like loves the Silver Surfer. No offense, but no one likes the Silver Surfer.
Actually, I do like the Silver Surfer. When I was growing up, the Silver Surfer was a different type approach, and there was a female,
right,
way back in the 60s, 70s, and Nora Rand basically, for lack of a better term, switched with her.
Right, but you see my point. You got to find, you got to dig for a fan that loves the Silver Surfer.
Right.
But they're pissed off that now the Silver Surfer's a chick, but why aren't they shitting on Pedro Pascal? Last I knew, Reed Richards wasn't fucking Latino.
Right. Oh, well, look at
pick and choose.
Actually,
and
I read some people who
it's guys our age bitching about it. I'd rather go read a book or go, go out for a walk, do something fucking productive with my life than bitch about a fucking comic book movie changing the character's sex. I would love to see a female Punisher. You know what I mean? That would
it's the reboot of The Crow, even. Like I'm hearing people trash that, and I'm going, did you read the original graphic novel where he wasn't wearing white makeup? It was dark eyeliners and shit like that. He looks more like, but they don't care.
No,
type deal. All right, listen. I got that up. I got the new review for Godzilla Kong, the New Empire, which I wasn't a big fan of. And then I put one up. Was it 2 days ago? Which is interesting, and it's about where are all the black people in Shogun?
Yeah, I started watching
that. Doesn't want to make you stick your head in a fucking oven. I don't know what will, but apparently someone's complaining that there are no black people in Shogun and wrote this lengthy article about it. So I just made fun of him for a while. So that's up. I've got this video dropping for Julia Gardner, and next week I've got an idea. I'd actually like to do Takashi Miike's 13 Assassins, which is up on Tubi. And it's just one of the greatest fucking action films of the last 25 years. So that's it for this stream. My thanks to John K. Alvarez, personal Amazon shopper, Eric from A Internet, Eric here, and Bill, the Itty Bitty Billy committee, not just a member, but he's also the president. We will see you all in the next video. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good day. God bless you.